Here in these early exercises, it's very important to kind of figure out what works best for you. Everybody has a different situation in terms of how they're going to be able to complete these exercises. And what I mean by that is what's the best way as far as your device that you're going to be using, how you're going to be using ArcGIS Pro. Are you going to be using it on your desktop, or are you going to be using it via a virtual PC, or are you going to be using it on campus? All of those matter in terms of how you're going to store and save information. It's very important. Is a lot of GIS is basically knowing where files are stored and how to access files, because a lot of times that's the problem. Is I have the data, I have the ArcGIS, how do I get them to connect to each other? And that's one of the things we're hopefully going to teach in this course. Alright, so for this first exercise, I suggest however you do it, whether it be stored on a thumb drive, stored in the cloud, Google Drive, on your desktop, on the virtual desktop, whatever, is to kind of get in this particular pattern where you keep everything together. So here, I'm going to start this first exercise and create a new folder here, exercise _01. So that's where I'm going to dump my data and then keep my exercise. And as I work on it, as I get my assignment almost ready to go and it's ready to publish, I'm saving all along the way, and all that stuff's going to be here in this exercise 1 folder. All right, let's go find some data. Here's the census site, and so here's where we can find tiger line or shape files. So these are the underlying geographies we're going to use, and so we need to find Marion County. So we need to find the geography of Marion County, the border of Marion County. So as we do that, we can put in the neighborhoods inside of the border of Marion County, and then from there put in the dots, which are facilities, whether they be recreational or religious facilities, whichever one we choose. All right, and so here, let's see, there's an update here, so we'll go to the most recent year, and then for you, there's a few different ways you can get to this, and so I'm just going to use the web interface. And so what we're looking for is we're looking for counties. I want that county, that geography, Marion County. So you'll see what we're going to do with this a little bit later on, but we need to first off get all the counties, and so that we eventually can select the one county that we want, Marion County. Okay, I'm going to download that file. So it's going to download and put it in my download folder. I'm going to make sure that that goes to my exercise 1 folder here, but I'll come back to that. Okay, it looks like it's completed. All right, let's go back to the main download page. Let's go ahead and get the states. So let's go ahead and get Indiana. We need to go get Indiana. So states. Submit. And you should have seen there's a lot of different geographies beyond just states and counties and so on. So you get school districts and census tracts. Okay, so we've got 2 zipped files. All right, that went ahead and showed me what's inside of it. That's cool. All right, and we'll go now to the Open Indy Data Portal. That's where we're going to find the geography that shows where the neighborhoods, where the boundaries of the neighborhoods in Marion County and Indianapolis. And of course, we do a little search here, neighborhoods, and an enter. And so you can do this. There's a good amount of data here on this Open Indy site. So we'll come back to this a few different times this semester. All right, and so what we can do here is what's nice is we can kind of take a peek at the data before we download it, because we don't want to kind of download it, load it, and find out, well, this isn't one. Okay, and so what we have here is a county, but it's missing Lawrence, Speedway, Beech Grove, and the old airport area. So I don't want that. I want all of those neighborhoods included. And so this one, if you look at the details here, it's giving me some other information as far as when it was published, update, and I can view the table if I so choose, and it gives me the names of those particular geographies, those polygons, which are drawn on here as individual neighborhoods. So I'm going to go back and maybe find a better one, a fuller one. I saw that one has 93 records, so 99 records. Let's go ahead and click on this one, and hopefully this one has Lawrence, Speedway, and Beech Grove included. And it does. So see the details, okay, data, names, area, in terms of its attribute table. And so I'm going to go ahead and download this one as well. So the options here is that it's an Excel, our spreadsheet as a Google Earth file, and down here is for remote sensing or working with imagery, and this here is a shape file, which as we showed in module 1 is what we're going to be working with here in GIS. So I'm going to go ahead and download that one. So for me, because I did a test, that's why it's seeing different options here, and so we're going to go ahead and generate new download with the latest data. This should take about 1 to 2 minutes for you. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Indiana map and get some data here. So Indiana Maps had some updates here. So if you've been using this before, it has been changed. So it's definitely made better, but like anything, it's got a learning curve. And so there's different ways to access the data via map viewer or data gallery. Let's go ahead and go with the data gallery. And so we have different options here, and so that one's now downloaded. Okay, we'll come back to all of these. All right, and so different features here. So I mean, there's so much stuff available. As I've mentioned in the earlier, Indiana is one of the leaders in geospatial or geography GIS data being available, but also kind of curating it, monitoring it. We're fantastic. Who would have thought Indiana? And so all this data is available. So we can go ahead and do a search for religious for our first ones. Cut to the chase here with what we're wanting to do. Religious centers. And so go ahead and I'll open that one up in a new tab and come back to that one. And then what was the other one? The other one was recreational. And this is places for exercise, not the ones that we would find in Michigan or Illinois. And so I opened those, and so religious centers, and so we should get a peek at it, just like we did with the earlier one. And we have point data now. And so one of the things is I'm trying to what our objective here. If I go and zoom in, once again, our objective is okay. So we have those Marion County, Indianapolis neighborhoods. So all those are polygons. I want to know or find out which neighborhoods have more religious centers than other ones, and similarly, which ones have more recreational facilities than other ones, and so which ones have less. And so that's our task here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I want to download this particular data, this point data, and so similar situation here. Now, not always it is this nice and clean, but we're going to be working with it, going ahead and using it. So go ahead and download it. And so that's our religious centers, and I'll do the same for our recreational facilities. And so now I've downloaded all those particular files, and I've now thrown them into or pasted them into the exercise 1 folder. Now, this is one of the things is you can do it however you want to do it. It's totally up to you, but I highly suggest keeping things organized. And so once again, exercise 1, completing the stuff through here, using the data through here, saving your particular map in here, publishing it in here, so your backups, whatever you end up sending to me when you're completed, all that in one particular folder makes it nice and organized, so you're not scrambling trying to figure out, okay, where was that? Where am I? This helps with organization. All right, and so what we have to do is we have to extract each of these particular zipped folders into an unzipped folder, and it's best just to do it right here, kind of once again keeping it nice and clean. And hopefully that's done by the default. So I'll right-click on each of these folders, extract all, and yep, that's what it's going to do. It's going to essentially put an unzipped folder inside of this particular folder here. That's perfect. And so I'm going to replicate this for the remaining of zipped folders. And I have now extracted all of those particular files. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll open up the ArcGIS Pro and start doing stuff with these particular folders. Once again, if this is the first time that you're signing into ArcGIS Pro, it's important that you follow those specific instructions in which you have to sign in using a browser. So you might not be able to even see this particular screen unless you do so. So if you don't get to this point, now yours is going to look a little different than mine. I've been kind of tinkering with things, and as time goes on here. And so yours will have different files here, but this is going to be our start page. And so I'll go ahead and maximize this so you can see. So it changes a lot. So every update, every ArcGIS Pro, they change this particular page, but for the most part, things stay the same in terms of the names. So go ahead and for this particular project, exercise 1, click on Map. And then we'll call this exercise _01. And very important, I need to save this in my particular folder. And so once again, this is where you're going to want to keep things in your particular folders, and you just got to figure it out. As time goes on, you'll figure out, okay, whoa, where is it? And you'll kind of get your system as far as, okay, right there, I had to kind of pause and remember, okay, yeah, and then I got to my exercise 1 folder. Go ahead and click on OK. And we have our exercise 1 project. And if you want to, you can get in the habit of adding the underscore, your last name, if you so choose. I'll go ahead and I'll just do that. I don't know. Okay, so next we'll see the ArcGIS Pro main screen here pop up. Alright, some things to note. If you see over here in the corner a circle spinning, that means the ArcGIS is working, it's thinking. So in the old days you used to see that hourglass spin. Here, in the case, you just look in the bottom right, and so right now it's refresh, but and so oftentimes you'll kind of see this thing working. I'm like, what's going on? Is it frozen? What's happening? Nothing's happening. Look on the bottom right. If you see spinning, a blue circle spinning, that's what's happening. Here's our map view, and so if you can zoom out, there's our world. So that's going to be our map pane. We can zoom into, or so whatever geography we so choose, Seymour, Indiana, Indianapolis, wherever. Now these other things here, this is the base map, and so you can change the base map. Notice you can turn it off. There's nothing there. So it's the underlying base map. There's really no data other than it's just kind of showing references. And then right here, see this particular button, it's the base map, and this is where you can change the underlying base map. If you want to or not. But that's totally up to you. That's where you can customize these maps, and every map is different. All right, other things to note. If I go up to View, we've got important things here. We've got the catalog pane, and so we'll come back to that here very early on, here in a few seconds. And then we also have another thing. It's called the geoprocessing pane. And so P-A-N-E, so window pane is kind of how we're thinking of these. So you're going to see these labeled and instructions, or referred to in instructions. The geoprocessing pane and the catalog pane, those are often used in these exercises. And so you're going to find those by going to View and once again clicking on each of those. Over here is the contents pane. It's very important. Contents pane is where we're going to find the layers. It's a lot of where we're going to be, kind of doing the moving of stuff around, editing, changing font, all that. That stuff is done over here in the contents pane. So if you ever accidentally hit that X out, you come back here to the View, and then the contents pane will pop back up. So the contents pane is very important, and you can move that around, but it's traditionally been over here on the left side. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up the catalog pane. And now I'm going to access those particular folders that I put into my exercise 1 folder. And so if I go over here to exercise 1, go to the folders, I'm going to right click, add a folder connection. And I'm going to go once again to that process of finding wherever I keep my particular folder. And so go ahead and click on OK. And so that should now add that folder connection. And if I expand that triangle, notice I expand just to that folder. See, I added that exercise 1 folder now. I added it because of adding that connection. You should now see these containing information, and I'm going to expand those even further. Okay, so these are the shape files. So .shp, that's the shape file. So I'll go ahead and I'll add that to the map. Right click, add to current map, and so that should be all the United States being added to the map. I'm now going to go to the U.S. county, add that to the map, and that should be all the counties of the United States. The religious centers, that's the shape file. Those are those dots. I'm going to go ahead and let me go back here, make sure you see that dot shape dot shp. So I'll go right click, add to current map, and recreational facilities. I'm going to right click on that, add to current map, and then Indy neighborhoods, right click, add to current map. So what we have now is our different layers are now over here. So I can go ahead and my catalog pane, I now know how I can get back to it. So I'm going to go ahead and X out so I can get my whole map here. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and start zooming into particular areas. Looks like this is way too far. I could zoom in all the way, or I could go over here to the recreational facilities, let's say, right click on this, and I can zoom to the layer. And that's going to zoom me now to that particular layer. So I can turn off different layers. So I can turn off those the recreational facilities in the religious centers. Turn them back on. If you want to, you can change the colors of things. You can kind of see how you right click there, and you can come over here and change the colors of those. That's where you get more in the cartography, the art of map making. And so all of this is setting us up for now doing stuff and getting query and search so we can get to specific neighborhoods in Indianapolis. Where are the recreational facilities? Where are the religious centers? We have too much information. We have too much going on. And so to do that, that's going to be our next step.